Hey everybody, my name is Mike. I am not for Coltrane. Welcome to your Coltrane Tuesdays for today, the first day of September in the year 2020. And we've got all sorts of cool stuff We've got all sorts of cool stuff that we're going to do today, including the launch of a brand new series of shows we're doing here during this part of the Coltrane Tuesdays show. As always, I'm super grateful for folks who are able to leave me comments. Let me know that you're there. And also let me know if you can see and hear me, because, when I'm trying to talk to you over here, I don't always see what my computer is trying to tell me and that things are going wrong. And of course, it's great if you can hit that like button or that share button so that more people can play along with us. What are we going to play together? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we are going to play at least one round, maybe two rounds of the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. If you've been watching the show, you know how that works, but I'll tell you again, especially for folks who might be joining us for the first time. The Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game works like this. People give me song suggestions, and I have to respond to them in some way, shape, or form. If the song that's requested is one that I know, then I'll go ahead and play it, although it will be unrehearsed. If the song is one that I kind of sort of know, I will try to figure it out. If the song is one that I do not know at all, I have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. And of course, it makes sense that, if we have more people playing and people throwing in song requests, that could be more fun. So please hit that share button so more people can join in with that. Okay, we've got Amanda saying that the sound and stuff is coming through clearly. I have one other thing I need to set up over here so I can see folks who are joining us from Rock in the Valley, that I could see any comments that they are sending in as well. And it seems like that's not actually working. So I guess that's a thing, but that's okay. In any case, so we've got folks who are with me here on the Not for Coltrane page. I will share this with other pages so that other folks can see that over there. I'm super excited because we're starting a brand new series where I cover songs by people I know, especially people that I know here in the Lehigh Valley. And I'm going to get that started just momentarily once I take a sip of this cool, refreshing beverage. We start, oh yes, and also I should say this too. So when people are live online with us and give me song requests for the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game, that's always what we do. But in addition to that, we have a brand new supply of pre-requested options if there aren't a lot of folks who are live online with us. So we'll see how that goes as well. That will be part of the thing that we do. All right, so to get us started, this is a song by Bronze for Birdy. Bronze for Birdy, I think mostly I'm going to talk about Bronze for Birdy after I play the song, but Bronze for Birdy is a great local indie band, part of sort of the DIY music community. May has been sort of the architect of Bronze for Birdy, and it's recently expanded into a trio. Not terribly long ago, I had May on the Cyber Speakeasy show that I do over on Rock in the Valley, and they played this song, and I'm like, this is what we need to do. So I'm going to give it a shot. I've been working on it the past couple days. I think it's ready to go. We're going to see how this goes. The song is by Bronze for Birdy, and it's called Geographical Closeness. I'm feeling tempted to buy a carry-on guitar, or spend all my money on some crummy used car, and pack up the trunk with only what I need the most, so I can flee this place and make a home on some other coast. Peaburg's always raining, I have all this dreary haze. Philly's got a piece of me, these are dirty basement days. God bless Eastern Pennsylvania, God bless Western Jersey too. I can't wait to get out of here, but let me say to you, I left a piece of me in Easton, and Milford's got my mom. Down the town, I hope you carries on. Okay, May deserves better than that. I'm going to start over because I missed some key words in the song. All right. Whew. Hey, May is with us. All right. Thank you, May. Thanks very much for joining. it to buy a carry-on guitar, or spend all my money on some crummy used car, and pack up the trunk with only what I need the most, so I can flee this place and make a home on some other coast. Pittsburgh's always raining, I have all this dreary haze. Philly's got a piece of me, these are dirty basement days. God bless Eastern Pennsylvania, God bless Western Jersey too. I can't wait to get out of here, but let me say to you, I left a piece of me in Easton, and Wilfred's got my mom. I left some love in Allentown, I hope it carries you along. I still love you, New Jersey. I still love you, Pennsylvania. It's too easy to hate your hometown. I don't hate you, you're just bringing me down. Made it through the second time. Thanks very much to May for writing that really cool song called Geographical Closeness. That is Bronze for Birdy. So the little bit, May and I don't really hang out. We haven't really spent a lot of time, visiting or doing stuff together. But the couple of times I've seen them, I've just been really impressed with the performance and with the songwriting, and just seems like a wonderful human being. And so yeah, like I was saying, May has been doing things as Bronze for Birdy for quite a while, which is very, very cool. Back at the start of the year, they reached out to a couple of friends, and Bronze for Birdy became a trio, and then everything went on lockdown. So you probably haven't seen Bronze for Birdy out doing a lot of cool things, but definitely check out Bronze for Birdy. I posted some links in the description here. Oh, thank you, man. Glad you enjoyed that. Posted some links in the description here to check out Bronze for Birdy on Bandcamp and on Tumblr and on Facebook and other cool places that you can find out what they're doing. And yeah, May, you literally inspired this new segment. I was doing a rewatch on over on the Rock in the Valley page of the show where May had come on, the Cyber Speakeasy show that I do on Thursdays on Rock in the Valley, and they were playing this song. Like, that's a really cool song. It's stuck in my head now. Hey, that's a great idea. That should be the whole series I do for the next several weeks. Of every show, I'm going to start off with a song by a local performer, somebody that I know, someone that I think that you as watchers and listeners should check out and support and find more things about. So thank you, May, for being who you are and for inspiring this whole thing that I'm going to be doing for the next several weeks here on the Not for Coltrane Tuesdays show. And May, I hope that you're able to stick around and play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game with us, because that's about what we're going to do just pretty much right about now. In case you missed the top of the show, the way the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game works is as follows. People who are live with us online, or people who have filled out request cards ahead of time, name songs that I should have to perform right here in front of you. If the song is one that I know, maybe it's one that I know but maybe haven't rehearsed for a little bit of it. If I know it, I'm going to give it a shot and go ahead and play that song. If it's a song that I kind of sort of know, like I've heard other people play it, or I've seen a bunch of people do it at open mics, or I've heard it on Spotify a dozen times, I will attempt to figure out how to play it here in front of you. If I do not know the song at all, I have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. And that is how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. All right. Oh, thank you, May. I'm very, very grateful that you appreciated that. And yay, good things. Crossing currents and bringing people together. Yay. It's what music is supposed to be about, right? It's what we're supposed to do. I'll say also a little bit later in the show, I promise that I'm going to start a new bit about voting, because that's a thing. It's pretty important. So I'm going to be walking people through my own process of figuring out what I need to be doing to vote in this year's election, which includes the presidential election, of course, but not only the presidential election. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But first, I believe it is time for me to do a round of the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. So I think the first thing to do, of course, I am grateful if folks are able to share this around so that more people can see it and more people can put in requests. But I'm going to start off with one of the requests from the bag here. Someone who cares very much about me reached out to friends, colleagues, family members, people on the street, and got a whole bunch of new requests, so that even if there aren't a whole lot of people who are live offering suggestions, that I'll always be prepared. See, back before COVID, when like in-person shows were a little more common, I would have a request. I'd have blank cards out on the table, so when people stop by and see me in person, they could put in a request card and then come see me later. Haven't been a lot of gigs recently, so this bag was getting pretty thin. So I'm grateful, I think, to all of the things that have been added to the request bag. All right, so this is a request from Maggie. The request is for Lonesome Town by Ricky Nelson. I feel like I should know who Ricky Nelson is, but I know Willie Nelson. I know Ricky Martin. I mean, not personally, but Ricky Nelson. I don't think I'm familiar with that performer. Okay, Lonesome Town. Lonesome Town has kind of a country feel to it. A song about oh yeah, so that would be an interesting. Oh, actually, the way it looks like the way I held it up, no one can actually see the words on it. Let me try that again. If I hold this up over, yeah, there. All right, Lonesome Town by Ricky Nelson. The request is from Maggie. All right, so Lonesome Town. What can I sing about Lonesome Town? Lonesome Town. An intriguing idea would be that there's in fact a lot of people in the town, but it's lonesome because heartbreak or okay, topical. It's lonesome because everyone's in their homes and wearing masks and unable to connect. It may be a little too on the nose, but that's probably something that can work into it. Let's see, what's a chord progression that I haven't done to death recently? Lonesome Town. I don't think any country songwriters would be offended to hear me say that the chord progressions are usually fairly simple and straightforward. Doesn't need to be real complicated. That's maybe people's key of B flat. we've got chords. I think this song's going to be in first person. Lonesome Town, Lonesome Town. May, if you're still there, May also has some experience actually quite a bit of experience improvising songs. I'm open to suggestions or ideas of where we can expand this idea of Lonesome Town. Lonesome Town. Okay, so I'm also now thinking about a Jason Isbell song, which, if there were going to be someone to write a song about being lonesome in a town, Jason Isbell he's written a few of those. Let's see. Okay. I just realized, take away this ball and chain. But that's close enough. It's fine. I don't need to come up with different chords. This will be different enough. I can still proceed with the plan that we have outlined. Okay, so it's but now that I'm aware of that, this is probably going to sound a little bit more like, well, that's Social Distortion, isn't it? Well, I'm here. Well, I'm here looking at my dingy hotel room. From the way the skies are looking, the night falls coming soon. And I'm here all alone in this here strange town. And I don't know why I can't find anybody else around. I'm just here on my own when the world's spinning by. I'm just here all alone, don't know how to get by this lonesome town. This lonesome town, this lonesome town is bringing me down. Well, I pulled into town, thought I'd get a brand new start, maybe find myself some friends around, a place to park my cart. And I thought that it would be so easy to find me a couple of friends. But that's just not how things are going, maybe not how my story ends. So I'm here on my own, in this dingy hotel room. If things do not change, there's gonna be real bad real soon in this lonesome town. Town. There's just not much going down. There's not anybody else around. I'm just wearing this sad frown all around this lonesome town. Not the most most original song you've ever heard, but not terrible to listen to either. So thanks very much to Maggie for that request for Lonesome Town by Ricky Nelson. That, of course, the song that I played is not the one by Ricky Nelson. I will do my best to find that actual song and post a link to that in the comments after the show. May chimes in, a lonesome town in a lonesome state. There you go. I think the person in that song was definitely in a state of lonesomeness. All right, so let's give folks a chance to get in one more. I'll do one more round of the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. First, though, it's time for the Coltrane Civics Corner to talk about my journey in figuring out how to vote in the upcoming election. What I found, as you might find, and obviously all these resources are out there in various places, but maybe you're not thinking about it yet. You say, hey, no, the first Tuesday in November is a long way off. So lots of stuff's going on. I really don't want to think about it, or I can just look on Google. But I'm here to, jog that process, and also some things that I learned along the way that have surprised me. Which, oh wow, actually I needed to get started on this sooner than later. So first off, votespa.com. If you are here in Pennsylvania, votespa.com is the government website that has a lot of the different resources in terms of what you need to do to figure out how to vote and what to do. Some of those links are going to take you off the site and onto other parts of the state government website, but votespa.com is a relatively good place to start. Not the things that you're most looking for may not immediately be right where you're looking at. The banner at the top of the page when I looked last night was about the 100th anniversary of the constitutional amendment that gave women the right to vote, which is great, but also then, which is wonderful and absolutely something we should celebrate. It's not what I went to the website for, so I had to scroll down to get to the actual answers to questions that I had. So it requires a little bit of patience to find the things that you're looking for. One thing you can do through votespa.com is to find out if you are registered to vote. If you're not sure, that is a great place to start. So I went through, and it's not really a surprise because I voted in every election, including the off-cycle ones here, where we're electing people like magisterial district judges and city councils and that sorts of things. So I haven't missed an election in a while, but still, I've let me just check, make sure that nothing has happened to my voter registration status, that everything is okay with that. And in fact, you can punch in either your driver's license number or punch in your name and your birth date, and they will show you, hey, you're actually registered to vote. And it'll also, helpfully, let you know your congressional and your state legislature representatives in the state senate and the state house. And it lets you know where your polling place is, and there's a button you can click to say, hey, how do I get to that particular polling place? So that is one of the first things you're going to do, is to find out if you are registered to vote, and if you are not yet registered to vote, then you can go ahead and do that. But you don't have a whole lot of time. I don't have the date in front of me, but I believe it's in relatively early October that you would need to register to vote if you aren't yet registered. So then, I've been talking months past back leading up to the Pennsylvania primary about voting by mail, and so I wanted to look into that. Obviously, great option if I don't want to stand in an enclosed space with other people for a period of time, especially since in a lot of places, I don't know how true this is in Pennsylvania at this point, but a lot of people who ordinarily work at the polls are concerned about getting sick, and that means that there aren't as many polling places, which means really, really long lines. So, having the option of voting by mail here in Pennsylvania, anyone can vote by mail for any reason. You can still technically apply for an absentee ballot saying, hey, I can't make it there because I'm going to be traveling or whatever. But at this point, it's essentially the same process as an absentee ballot, as a mail-in ballot. Basically the same thing. Some pieces that I didn't know about when I went in to click in and learn about getting a mail-in ballot. First, I voted by mail in the primary just a couple months ago, but that does not mean that I'm going to get a ballot in the mail this time around. And so when I clicked on the thing through the website, it points out you must apply for an absentee or mail-in ballot for each election unless you qualify for and request permanent status to vote by mail-in ballot. As far as I know, I haven't applied for that. So I'm interested in applying for that because it would be great if I don't have to go down the street to the polling place. I could just do it from home. But that's something I wasn't necessarily aware of. Also, the deadlines are really important. So the key detail here at the top, please note, if you plan to vote using an absentee or mail-in ballot in the 2020 general election, that's the one where we're voting for president, on 11/3/2020, your completed application must be received in the county office by 5 p.m. on 10/27. The deadline to return your voted absentee mail-in ballot is 8 p.m. on the 3rd of... Okay, so the application to vote by mail must be received in the county office by the 27th of October. In addition to the actual ballot needs to be back at the county voting office by 8 o'clock in the evening of November 3rd. But really an even better way to do that is to try to get in. If you're voting by mail, do it early. You're only going to be able to vote once. They're going to check your ballot and check your signature. If they have two ballots that are both supposed to be for you, only one of them is going to count. They're also going to check the signature and make sure the signature matches, and there's supposed to be a process of notifying you if the signature doesn't. But it's not really any way to stuff the ballot box that way because there's one registered voter and there's one vote that's going to be cast. So I actually can't show up in person if I cast my vote by mail, which makes sense. That's how we want the process to work. But yeah, John Oliver several weeks ago made a really good point about, how we were talking about flattening the curve. The whole idea with flattening the curve with COVID was that so we didn't have too many people sick at the same time and it would overwhelm the resources. It was not saying necessarily that fewer people will get sick, but we'll spread out those illnesses over a longer period of time so that the hospitals are never overflowing. And a very similar kind of idea makes a lot of sense with voting by mail. If we all apply for ballots now and we get ballots in early October and turn them in, then that means there's not an enormous crush of all the ballots that come in on election day that still need to be scanned and processed. Better if we can get them in early, the vote counts, each person gets just one vote, and we're done, and it's the way it... Yeah, so think of it as election month, not election day. Think of all of October as election month. So that's my bit for that. I will let you know how it goes when I apply for my mail-in ballot, and I'll keep you up to speed on that process, things that I learned that surprised me about how that goes ahead. If you have questions about the voting process, either in your state or here in Pennsylvania, let me know. I'm not an expert, but I can look things up, and we can pool our resources and figure out how to get the best answers we possibly can. If you say, Mike, this process for voting seems like it is unnecessarily complicated. I've got to go to a website, I've got to put in the thing, I've got to do all of that stuff. Yeah. Yes, this isn't the simplest way to do voting. If you think that should change, which is a legitimate point of view, then we need to first off be contacting our representatives in the state legislature and the governor and saying, hey, we think we should be doing this in a more easy way to do this. And we need to vote for people who are campaigning on saying, yes, I want to make it easier for people to vote. I want to make this more straightforward. There are states where everyone in the state who's a registered voter just gets a mail-in ballot automatically. You don't have to request it. You don't have to go through any of these steps that I just outlined. Maybe that's what we should have in Pennsylvania. If that's what you think, please let your legislators know. Even if the legislator feels like this is a really good idea, they're still going to need those calls and emails to remind them because there's a whole bunch of stuff competing for their attention. If this is something that you think should be a priority for us here in our state or in whatever state you're in, let them know. That's what we got to do to try to make it happen. All right, so now back to the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. I do not see any other requests that have come in, so I'm going to do one more round of the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game using a request from the bag here. So many options. I don't know what any of them are. All right. This request is for... also for Maggie, interestingly. And the song is Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. And if I can try to... Yeah, there we are. Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. The request is from Maggie. All right, let's. This is probably going in the Stump the Man do-over pile. Man. May, if you know how to play Black Hole Sun and you're still watching, I'm open to suggestions. Sometimes other folks are watching who are performers as well. Jeez. Right, so in this no one knows how to feel. Wow. All right. This is one of the challenging things about this song. So you don't just see me sort of noodling around. Soundgarden is not known for doing like really simple chord progressions or patterns or whatever. I'm sure there is a relatively straightforward way to play this song. I just happen to not know it yet. So I'm now trying to figure out how to make this work. So thank you for your patience. I'm going to start there. also not using standard chord voicings, which means that whatever I do is not going to sound quite right. But wow, this is not going well. All right. I'm really not sure about the first words either. So what's going to happen right after the show is I'm going to go look it up and I'm going to say, oh, that's how you play that song. But in the meantime, this is what we're going to do. Meaningless words, I don't know where the chords go, but we sing on and we still don't know the key. But I sing, but I can't, but I don't have any pants, but I need on the trees, but I'm giving this song to end. Black hole sun, won't you come? Wash away the rain. Black hole sun, won't you come? Won't you come? Won't you come? Wow, that was really, really bad. But thanks very much to Maggie. I'm quite confident that that's not going to get any better from there. So I hope there was at least an entertaining failure. Thanks very much to Maggie for that request. And that is where we are going to leave things for today with the Not the Coltrane Stump the Band game. One other thing, I haven't really addressed this on the show. I mean, back in a couple months ago, after we learned about the murder of George Floyd, I did a whole sort of series of songs and shows reflecting on what's going on in the country. And in fact, it's been more than a week now since we learned about the shooting of Jacob Blake over in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And there's continued to be not just protests, but also violence and additional people. I mean, there are so many things that we need to continue to figure out how to improve with this country, and things that are rotten at the core from how it was founded. I still have hope that we can root out those problems and find a way to improve them, and that they're the ideals that inspired this country, that have continued to inspire people like Martin Luther King and like everybody who's out on the street now saying, hey, our constitutionally enshrined right to protest and to say to our government we think this is wrong and needs to change, and to assemble and to speak. Yeah, all of that is really, really important, and I don't think violence has any place in that process, especially not state-sanctioned violence, whether it is violence that is perpetrated by actual authorities or violence that is just sort of encouraged and abetted by authorities. It's a process that I'm continuing to try to figure out, and I know that so many people are continuing to grapple with. To everyone who is trying to grapple with any of these things in good faith and is reaching out to people to try to figure out how to improve the world around us, how do we stand up and speak, especially for people who for centuries of history have been underrepresented and continue to be underrepresented? How do we make those voices stand out? For those of us who have any kind of privilege, how do we leverage that in order to help the people who have been denied that kind of privilege for so long? I don't have answers. I continue to believe that music can be part of that in terms of bringing people together and seeing common humanity. I think voting is another really key part of that. I don't think violence should be a part of that discussion, and I don't think that violence is the way to make that change. And it's frightening that there are individuals in positions of authority who are saying that, yes, I think, it's perfectly reasonable for people to show up on the streets with automatic weapons, and that's the only way to make their voices known. That's terrifying. So for everyone who is with me on this process of trying to figure out how to make our voices count in the election, for everyone who is participating in protests, for everyone who's creating art, for everyone who's engaging with dialogue, for everyone who is trying to raise kids and teenagers with an awareness of the things that we need to improve and grow and change in our society. Thank you for what you're doing. My name is Mike. I am not for Coltrane. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'm going to go figure out how to play Black Hole Sun. And I will see you next time.